Hey guys, we're back here at Fill the Cup. It is Saturday and sorry I haven't done them in a while. It's been crazy busy, a lot of training and prep for Tahiti. But today we're going to go through how I spray paint my surfboards. It's not the one and only way to spray a surfboard. There's so many different ways. You can use Posca pens as well. But today I'm going to walk you through how I spray my surfboards. It works, it's fast, it's easy, it's fun. So join in the action, grab a board and grab a cup of coffee and let's go. All right, so first things first, prep your canvas. Grab a damp cloth. I actually just damp one spot and I have the dry stuff on the other side so I can work 2 for 1. So get it wiped down really well. Get all that little film dust, debris, any little soot off that board so you have a nice clean spray. A suggestion with sprays is when you're starting on, it's best, you know, simple's best. But with that being said, having fun with your board is always exciting. It's so fun to play with your sprays, but have an idea in mind on what you want to paint. You know, I mean, you can flow with it at certain points, but it's good to have a little bit of structure with your board so it doesn't look like chaos, you know? So think about what you have in mind that you want to put on that canvas and then let it happen. So the next important thing is your tools and how your approach is for prepping the board, spraying the board. One of the things I use is always a razor blade to cut the masking tape, to cut the paper. Wear a mask unless you're doing breath holds like I do. Safety first. Always prevent yourself from inhaling toxins. And then the type of spray I use is usually Rust-Oleum. I do switch it up every once in a while. You know, I just go Home Depot and I get the good stuff. Rust-Oleum's what I'm currently using. And sometimes with sprays, I always tend to go on the fluorescent side, but you pick your favorite colors. Pick 2 to 3 or 1 or 4 or 5. It's your color palette, so have fun. All right, and last but not least is color blocking. Where you don't want your color is just as crucial as where you do want your color. So the way I do that is either with cardboard boxes that shipments come in with, or I have this really awesome dandy painter's paper, and then masking tape on masking tape on masking tape. Usually I use frog tape, Scotch, but Scotch is pretty good as well. You just want it to be more on the fresh side. I do really like this tape as well. But frog tape, I find it's really reliable. It is on the pricier side, so I mix and match, and then I have my fine-tuned pinstripe tape. I don't even know who makes this. I saw it, I was like, ooh, I need that in my quiver. Pick your tape, pick your paper, pick your design, and let's go. So first thing, blocking out the label. I always frame off my Stamps logo with masking tape, so let's give it a go. So with the piece today that I'm doing, I'm going to do a color blocking and a pinstripe, really fine pinstripe. And then I'm going to do like a full empty design where I have this side colored, this side blank. I really love that for the tropics. And so this board, I'm going to give that line and that feel, you know? It just looks fast and really good. All right, as you finalize your masking and blocking, you just want to, for me, I always make sure that there's no area for the spray to get through, because you'd be surprised. You think you've blocked it all, you're like, oh, it's all right, and the next thing you know, you have a little overspray. But if you want that look, go for it, you know? But for me, I want a really crispy, clean pinstripe line. There we go. Awesome. So this is what it looks like at the end. right before you spray. Everything that you want blocked is covered, and then everything you want to add color on is open. Now we got our spray. I have the idea in mind of what I want to do on this board. And let's go. Let's have fun. So make sure you give your spray can a really good shake. Shake that thing. Shake that thing. Super duper good. To get two going. Oh yeah. Like it. Good little workout. You know, it's like a shake weight. All right, I think that's good. First things first, we're going to do some fun with this little bad boy. I'm gonna give it some yellow. All right, so now we have the yellow applied. And I always kind of go a little more than I want the yellow, because that ombre that I'm going for, you fade into it with the other color and it gives it that pop and that vibrance. I'm going to do this orange. Just make sure it works. Sometimes the tip doesn't. There we go. That's a good one. So now put your mask on or hold your breath, one or the other. All right, so now you want to do this single color here. Going to keep it clean and simple on this board. So now that we have the full spray done, we'll have to do the clear coat, but before, I want to show you what it looks like with the paper. Now don't do this to your board, I just want to show what it looks like. That's how it looks like. And before your paint dries, even your clear coat, do not take off the masking tape. So many people are so antsy on what to see, and they want to see their piece, and they're like, how did it turn out? And there's a lot of excitement because you just sprayed a board and it's fun. But be patient, let it dry, put it in the sun or the shade. Yeah, so now let's go put that clear coat on. Make sure you have it. Shake it up. Give it a good shaky shake. Oh yeah. That's good. And I always keep the tape on here because I don't like to have too much overspray onto the other part of the board. It keeps the board lighter. Nice, smooth. Don't get too close to your board and create that pooling. It's not fun. I always do a bit of a crosshatch. Another thing too is if you have a bit of a shaky hand, tape your rail off. You know, I've been doing this for a while, so easy way to make sure it doesn't go under is by taping your rail line with some masking tape. I'll just keep it clean for you. I'm going to remove this. I wouldn't suggest you do it. I'd just leave it put, but I have 8 other boards to get done, and I've done it quite a few times, so finesse is definitely something, but here's a little bit of a hint of what we're gonna have. Woo woo! Here's to another episode of, oh, can't have that happen. And here's to another episode of Fill the Cup.